Hey friends, Christensen here. Today I just want to share with you how I would teach Doctrinal Mastery Review number 6. In saying that, I want to be clear that I'm not suggesting that this is how you should teach it. I'm simply going to walk through this lesson and give a perspective that I hope inspires you to have thoughts about your students, your circumstances, what would be best for them. So hopefully something is inspirational and prompts ideas that would be a blessing to your class. Every Doctrinal Mastery Review is a little bit different. The last one focused on memorization. This one focuses on the aspect of Doctrinal Mastery where we're trying to deepen understanding of the doctrines and principles taught in those verses and to actually be able to explain them. And so our activity is focused on that objective, understanding and explaining. There are I see two different possible beginnings to this lesson that involves this principle of strategy. This first one I think would work well with most classes where you talk about what sports you play or what games you play. It could be board games. What are some of the strategies that help you to win or cause you to lose if you don't use this strategy? I think a lot of students could talk about that. The other option is to watch this video and have the same conversation about what strategies did these young men approach. I would lean towards doing just one. I don't think you need to do both, just to introduce that idea that strategies are helpful. As you know, our point is we're looking at strategies that would help us understand. So we're going to transition to, there are strategies to understand so that we can better explain important doctrines of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so our activity is going to involve our 12 doctrinal mastery passages and key phrases, and students are going to have some opportunities to choose ones that they want to understand better or they'd like to explain better or both. And so you may have passed out this piece of paper to them before. You can have them take it out, or you can print it and have them have one available for them to use. But essentially, the activity that I would recommend from here is the line upon line strategy of where we're really going to pick apart a verse and really try to understand it in depth by going line upon line. And so I highlighted right here, I like this example, lay the foundation from the strength of youth. It just shows how this works. And so I would actually show this, whether you copy it and put it on a PowerPoint on the TV so everybody can see. But it's essentially, you're going to have a verse over here. You're going to highlight 4 or 5 phrases that you think are important. And then you're going to, on the side of the page, try to pick apart, what does this mean? Well-doing, what does that mean? Or foundation, why is that an important part of the verse? And so they'll brainstorm. They might look it up in Gospel Library, see other references to well-doing. They could use Guide to the Scriptures or Topical Guide if they think that could be helpful. But they're going to try to pick it apart. A fun addition is to consider just drawing a little picture that goes with it. Sometimes thinking about what would I draw causes students to think more about what does it even mean. And so this is a fun thing. I would hand students out a blank piece of paper after showing them this and say, we're going to do this. Line upon line, you're going to pick some phrases, going to draw some pictures, explain some phrases. We're going to see if we can deepen our understanding. And so I would go back here and I'd maybe pick one. And the first one, I would recommend modeling with your students. So say we're going to do one together on the whiteboard. And you're going to do it quick and you're not going to do it beautiful because you're just making sure they understand how it's done. For example, if you decided we're going to do 2 Nephi 32:3, you could turn there and say, students, okay, let's mark 4 or 5 phrases that you think are really important or we could understand better, and just have them share. And so and have them mark it in their scriptures even. Just have them do that first. So here's a sample. Angels, power of the Holy Ghost. What does that mean? Words of Christ. Feasting seems to be an important idea in this. The words of Christ are going to tell you things, and the do is the action. And so write that on the board, and then you'd say, okay, who are angels? And you're just doing it quick. It doesn't need to be perfect this first time. What is the power of the Holy Ghost, or who is the Holy Ghost? And so if students say it's a member of the Godhead, so you can write on the board, member of the Godhead who testifies of Jesus. Words of Christ, you could say, inspired words that come from the scriptures or from angelic ministers or whatever students come up with. You're just sampling how we're going to pick apart phrases, write it down and say, okay, if you were to draw a picture, what would you draw? And somebody might say, well, I'd draw Angel Moroni, or how would that angel look? How'd you draw power of the Holy Ghost? Would it be sunshine with rays coming down? Whatever it is, but on the board, you're just making a mess and you're showing them how it's done. And then you're going to say, let's do one for real, but you're going to do it this time. It might be good to pick one, or if you're comfortable, you can let students say, I'm going to give you 60 seconds for you to choose one that you want to deepen your understanding about. But at the end of 60 seconds, I'm going to ask you which one you chose, because sometimes they can be disabled by not even picking. So they got to pick one quick so we can actually do this activity. At any rate, once they've picked it on their paper, give them time. Give them 7 minutes or whatever it seems like the right amount of time. Say, on the left, just like we saw here, show the sample again, write out the verse, pick your phrases, write the phrases, explanation, and then if you have time, the drawing is extra if there's time. That's the extra part. And then you're just going to review. You're going to learn from each other once you're done. Share what they found, what they liked. You can have them share with the neighbor, share in front of class if it's a small class, or if you want to have a few students. If you got more time, turn the paper over and say, let's do it again. You're getting good. Let's practice one more time. We want to deepen our understanding and get better at this. I think it's a fun lesson. It's a good activity. That's my approach. You'll do wonderfully. Thanks for all that you do.